Former youth pastor dies in jail after being charged in wife's 20-year-old hiking death.
Tonight's crime story goes back to August 22, 2006, at Angel's Landing in Zion National Park, Utah. That day, David Vandermeer fell to her death while hiking with her husband, former youth pastor David Vandermeer, on their wedding anniversary. For years, the death was treated as a tragic accident. But nearly 20 years later, investigators reopened the case after a tip from Vandermeer's former church boss, who reportedly told authorities the death was not an accident, and alleged that David had pushed Bernadette. Vandermeer was arrested and charged with murder. 3 days later, he died by suicide in jail. At first, the case looked like a tragic hiking death. A married couple went to a famous but dangerous trail. The wife fell. The husband survived. Authorities initially treated it as an accident, but investigators later found details that raised serious questions. According to court documents cited in reporting, Vandermeer had allegedly been involved in an inappropriate sexual relationship with a 16-year-old girl. He allegedly told the girl their relationship could only continue if his wife were not alive. The relationship ended shortly before Bernadette died, and Vandermeer later married the girl. That kind of timeline matters. In homicide investigations, motive is often built from pressure points, romantic conflict, financial gain, secrets, affairs, life insurance, prior statements, behavior after the death. Investigators also reviewed allegations that Vandermeer increased Bernadette's life insurance from $150,000 to $600,000 shortly before her death, and later received more than $567,000 in payout money. The turning point came from someone connected to Vandermeer's past. A former church supervisor reportedly contacted investigators and said Bernadette's death was not accidental. That kind of witness tip can completely reopen a case. Detectives then have to ask, did the original investigation miss something? Were there inconsistencies in the husband's account? Was there a motive? Were there financial changes before the death? Did the suspect make statements to others? Was the scene consistent with an accident or a push? In this case, prosecutors believed there was enough evidence to charge Vandermeer with murder nearly 2 decades after the fall. But the case will never go to trial because Vandermeer died in jail days after being charged.
Why do suspicious fall cases take so long to charge?
Because falls can look accidental. Investigators need motive, statements, physical evidence, financial records, and witness testimony to prove it was intentional.
First, Bernadette Vandermeer fell to her death in 2006. Second, the death was initially treated as accidental. Third, investigators later received a tip claiming it was not an accident. Fourth, detectives reviewed motive evidence, including alleged affair details and life insurance changes. Fifth, David Vandermeer was charged with murder. Sixth, he died in jail before trial. 1. Whether the county releases more investigative details. 2. Whether Bernadette's family speaks publicly. 3. Whether the case becomes a documentary because of the pastor, affair, and cliffside death elements. 4. Whether civil claims or estate questions emerge. A former youth pastor was charged nearly 20 years after his wife fell to her death on Angel's Landing. Investigators say new information, alleged motive, and financial details turned an accident ruling into a murder case. But before a jury could hear the evidence, David Vandermeer died in jail.